All right, we'll start the recording. I know Dodie is gone. Suzanne is here. She just can't put her picture on. Allison she got to go to a conference in California, so which is awesome because she's been missing out on those things. So she just can't be here for that. So and Jamie, I haven't heard from, so I'll have to reach out. But anyway, that's awesome. So glad that you are all here. And yeah, let's get started. I think we're going to start first with check-ins and wins, and then we'll go into our meditation and kind of go from there. So yeah, check-ins, how your week has been. And for Suzanne and Jade, we set intentions last week. So on top of your check-in, if your intentions have been top of mind at all, we'll kind of talk a little bit about that too, but let's start with wins and yeah, check-in. So whoever wants to go first.
I will go first.
Okay.
Okay, so I wasn't here last week, so I'm not sure about intentions, but so my wins are, okay, so like I'm gonna say like a month ago, I was in the forest meditating, and this really cool vision came to me about this sound bath in the forest. So this event is coming up this weekend, and I'm so freaking grateful for all the energies that I have been receiving and perceiving around this event. So I'm just so grateful for what it's created. Like, I'm really nervous. I'm really excited, but I'm nervous too. But so I posted it, and it's filled up. So I actually have 3 separate sound bath sessions. So like Friday, and then I have 2 on Saturday, which is super awesome. And like I've just had some amazing connections. So Kim, you know a woman named Stacy, blonde hair. She's a yoga instructor. She hosted that women's event in Glendon.
Oh yes,
I know. You were a guest speaker. Yeah, you remember, right? Yeah.
I know quite a few Stacys actually, so I'm like,
Okay.
yeah,
Sorting through.
Yeah.
Anyways, Stacy is a yoga instructor, and she wants to, like, right now we are collaborating, and we're gonna have some stuff available at the Centennial Center in Bonnyville come October. And then this morning, and this other woman who's a meditation instructor contacted me, and she's just inviting me to come and play the bowls. I don't really know how to describe to you how this feels, because it's like, it's so easy for me. Like, that's it. I just get to play the bowls. Like, it's almost like there's a trick. Like, where's the fine print? That's what I'm waiting for. On the other hand, I've also worked really fucking hard. This hasn't just like popped in my lap. So I'm just feeling really honored. I'm really excited, and I'm really grateful. So I'm just living all these amazing energies, and I'm so excited for this weekend. And I just am so excited. And it's just the beginning. This is the beginning. So the beginning of something very magical. I've never felt this before. So yeah, and I didn't know what I was going to create. I didn't know that by inviting people for a forest sound bath that it would create these other connections, these other things that it brought into my life, right? So that's really amazing, and I'm just really grateful. So just riding that wave.
That is so amazing. I know. Yeah. And when I looked, I was busy this weekend. So then I was like, oh, and then I saw another one open, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe I can make that one. And I didn't realize now you have 3. So, just really, I don't know if you're journaling about it, but, I would really suggest you journal your feelings right now, your emotions, and focus on that feeling, and then star that page, because we know, and this is what we're going to talk about today actually, is process and how we're cyclical, right?
Okay.
And so you're going to hit a point where you're like, I don't know what to do anymore. I'm stuck. I'm not getting anything, right? It's just, and then you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to go back and read how that felt. And we're going to connect back to that energy of that feeling and that success of all these things coming to me without me even asking for it.
Cool. Okay, perfect. Okay, yeah. I'm on it. I have a new journal to start. I'm really funny with ending and beginning journals. It's like this, there's a thing.
Oh yeah,
I
I
don't know
have
what
a
the thing
thing too.
is. So there's a new journal, and I'm gonna say that that's where I will begin with that new journal, is with
Perfect.
that. So thank you for that, Kim. Yeah,
Yeah, you bet.
awesome.
Perfect.
Thanks.
All right, ladies. Who else?
I'll go.
Okay.
First, I'd like to say to Nikki, that is awesome. It is so nice to see you smiling and having some positive vibes head your way, because it's lovely for me to see at this end. And that's so kudos to you. Awesome job. For me, positive for me is I'm dealing with my brother and his second divorce. And with Kim's help from helping and doing this, I've actually been able to say no to him about getting involved. And that's a huge win for me, because I'm always in my family, the one figuring everybody else's shit out. So that was awesome. And another win is we've got things figured out, who's doing what for Dawn's mom, moving her to the home, which was a little crazy, a little bit of some bitchy emotions, but we got that figured out. So that's another win. Work is going great. It's really quiet here, but busy. And for my intentions, I wanted peace in my life, and I wanted um, some growth in my health, which I'm still going to the gym with Linda, and she's given me some other tips on just eating healthier, just one thing at a time, instead of here, you should change all this stuff. So
Mhm.
that's really good. So yeah, I've got some goals set for life, and I've actually did my practicing my Spanish for a whole hour before I go to work out, because I have an hour to kill. So yeah, so things are turning around, and I just keep telling myself I have to decide what's best for me now, not what's best for everybody else, especially when it comes to family. So thanks, Kim, for being that rock in my head saying, don't do it. Like, that's the biggest thing, is like, just get around and say it, that so that he realizes that this isn't something I want to take on.
Yeah.
So only
Oh,
positive for me.
that is fantastic. You just make my heart like, from the first time I talked to you, whenever that was, right? When you reached out to now,
Yeah,
like you're just a different person,
I
honestly.
know.
Your
And I
energy.
feel different.
Yeah.
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 It's just,
Saying no to family is always been a really, really hard thing to do.
yes.
So just to have those coping mechanisms, and that time to reflect first of what I'm going to say, before just being mad and just telling them to, you know what, never mind, I'll do it because I'm going to do it right, and get it done, because I'm tired of showing people. This time is like, no, here, you need to do this. You need to look into this. It's not my problem. I didn't do this.
Mhm.
So yeah, those are great wins for me. So
Yay. Well
yeah, I'm very
done.
happy about it.
Awesome. And I'm so happy that, that you even knew what your intentions were from last week. That's a win too. Cause sometimes, we talk about stuff and then we kind of just let it go, right? Which is fine. It happens all the time. So that's just another win. Remind me, so in my notes, because sometimes, I don't know what this means, but under your personal routine, I wrote guitar. Did something come up last time about a guitar? You playing guitar, someone playing
Yeah,
guitar?
well, I used to play guitar, and I want to put it back into my personal routine too. Like, I want to practice my Spanish, and I want to start playing, like, really playing guitar again.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I haven't yet, but I got the Spanish laid in there. So now I just got to
Perfect.
pick a day that I can put the guitar into. So, and it's not like I don't have time, because I don't have little kids or anything like that. It's just to do it. So like, I know these next few weeks will be really busy with moving Dawn's mom's stuff and
Oh,
everything,
yeah.
but I still can have time for me, and to just veg out and just do that. So
For sure. And, same thing as Linda said, right? Then focus on your Spanish if that's what's bringing you joy right now, right? You don't have to keep adding stuff if you're feeling filled up. just know the
Yeah.
guitar is there for whenever you're ready for it. So yeah, okay, good. I'm glad that that was there for a reason, because that's sometimes
Yeah,
I'm
it
like,
was. It was.
"Oh."
Yeah, it was. She's Linda just said, you know what, try to have a piece of fruit a day for the next month. So
Yeah.
you're working out, have a piece of fruit. That's it. And that's all we're changing right now. And then I can do the Spanish one day and then do guitar the next. So we'll figure it out.
That's awesome. So amazing. Oh, you make my heart so happy. Well
It
done.
feels good too. Feels
Yeah.
good too.
Absolutely. Perfect. Jade, how are you?
I'm doing quite well. I had set the intention. Well, no, first of all, like Nikki and Suzanne, like I think you're both doing so great. And that's like my favorite part about these calls is the check-ins, seeing how everyone's doing. So anyways, I can like feel your excitement. I really feel energies even through computers. So I can just really feel how uplifted you both are. And that uplifts me. So that's awesome. But yeah, I set the intention to, kind of clean up my space, not be so cluttered and messy. And, I'll be honest, I hadn't really actually thought about it a lot until you said it at the beginning of this call. But what's interesting is because I said it, I actually did naturally. I have cleaned this house. Like I actually have no dirty laundry, which is something when you're
No kidding.
so I have no dirty, yeah. I got everything mopped and cleaned and, like the real cleaning where you move the mattress and you look under the beds and, all that kind of stuff. Like, like the real, yeah. So I actually set that intention and it must have really set in my unconscious because I didn't actively think about it, but I did the work. So it's really, it's awesome. COVID hasn't affected me a lot, but just lately with like the vaccine passports coming out and just the general energy, it's just now starting to kind of like weigh me down a bit. And you just feel, that illusion of control has kind of been shattered a bit. So it's been nice to have my space be a little bit more in my control because it's something and that's what I wanted with my intention, right? Was that stability and it's given me that for sure. Like, I can control this space and what's going on here. And, that's it. So, yeah, so it's been helpful that way when I'm battling kind of the overhang of negative energy that's kind of seeping in. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, well done. That, just proof again, right? When we put something out into the universe, then you just did it, like you said, without even being aware of the cleaning and everything. So, so that's amazing. So today I had a card reading with Candace McKim, who is, I've worked with many times. She's been my coach for years. And she said to me that I'd asked about my body and my health and just, my menopause and my energy it's just been, my body's been kind of spiraling, doesn't know where it's going, what direction. And so, but she was really good at saying she felt that, I definitely take in energy. I've noticed it more and more, and that the collective energy right now is not good, right? And so that just affects us all. And so I totally get you with that feeling, right? Of everything kind of coming in and, the election coming up, and then we have COVID. And so what really helped shift me the other day was a friend of mine on Facebook who's from South Africa, who's been in Canada for 20 years. And she just wanted to say how grateful she is to be Canadian. And she said, if anyone ever asked me if I miss South Africa or if I would ever go back, she said, never do I miss it, and never will I go back. Yes, I miss my family that's there, but she said that, of course, a lot of us who are feeling this energy, who have only ever lived in Canada, right? She said, you do not still understand what it's like to fear for your life every day. And so that helped me shift and really shed some of that energy, in that it's so true, right? And I don't agree with everything the government is doing, and I don't like the energy, but I still feel I'm in a way better place than where so many people in the world are right now, right? I mean, the women in Afghanistan, I just don't even know. I don't even know how to comprehend that. And so it's not saying that our feelings aren't valid, because they totally are, but that sometimes we have to shift our perspective when that energy gets really, really heavy, right? Shaking it off and looking at the things, what do I have control of? What can I change within my house, within my children, within the school, within, and what am I passionate about? And then what am I going to share within that passion? And then the rest, of course, goes from there. But I think that what you're feeling definitely, Jade, is real. And for me, that helped. It really helped me to get rid of some of that energy. So anyway, that was a really long response. But
Well, thank you.
oh, okay. Let me. Awesome. Just a reminder, Fascinating Female Friday is on Friday with Sylvia, who had canceled there. So she is back on track. And so that will be, I'll send out an email also, but just a reminder for that. Okay, let's get comfy and do a little grounding, and then we'll kind of go from there. So as you get comfortable, just put one hand, one hand on your chest and one hand on your lower abdomen. And just take a few just deeper breaths. Close your eyes. And for your first few breaths, just inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And just take some time to listen to the whispers within you. What's going inside you right now? Our body constantly talks to us, but we have to listen. So as you take deep breaths, just listen to what your body needs. As you exhale, visualize any tension or stress leaving your body. Now I want you to take both hands and put them both on your lower belly together. And just notice the expansion of your breathing in as your belly grows, and as you exhale, your belly contracts. Begin to feel energy within your hands and your lower abdomen. This is your sacral chakra, your center of sensuality, pleasure. This is your divine feminine energy, your center of passion and creativity. This is the space that births your energy and your confidence. The next inhale, I want you to visualize that you're pulling in a channel of orange energy. It is rich and warm in the color of the setting sun. You pull it in and let it glide down your body until it forms a pool in your lower belly where your hands are. And just pull more and more of this orange energy. It's feeling like there's a fire igniting. Feel your belly becoming warmer, the rich color intensifying. Breathe in this orange light until you can see yourself radiating a deep orange glow in every direction. Feel it renewing your confidence, igniting your passion and your zest for life. See yourself walking into a room radiant and glowing like a beautiful sunset. Creativity flows in this way as you attract everything into your life. With your sacral chakra and your divine feminine energy activated, your inner fire is reignited and alive. You realize that you are the authority in your life. You realize that you are the divine feminine energy. It pours from you. It attracts opportunities, excitement, and new beginnings. Wherever you look, whatever you touch, you shine and glow in the sunset orange light. Anything is possible. In your head, I want you to repeat after me. I am magnetic. I am the divine feminine energy. Just let this sit within you for a moment. Embody this energy. And then take a deep breath in and out. And when you're ready, open your eyes and know that you are ready to create. Hey, anything come up from that for you?
Mine was really pretty. It was really, it was the orange light, but then at the end, when we said I am magnetic, it was really cool how I could perceive this like blues, and purples, and yellows. So it went from the orange energy, and then it was sort of like pulling in these other colors. So I like that space.
Yeah, right?
So cool. I like that. Thanks, Kim.
Yeah, nice. And that could be you just pulling yourself into alignment and bringing all the chakras into alignment, right? All the
Yeah.
colors.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool. Yeah.
beautiful. Anyone else have any awarenesses or?
I have hiccups, so it's not really helping.
It's okay. Okay. So the biggest thing for me right now, and this all came about, a lot of it came about today when I had this card reading, and just, Jade and I talk, and, I feel like sometimes I know in my business that it is very cyclical. And today when I had my card reading, Candace reminded me, because we forget, right? Like And I remember 2 years ago, after my foster daughters, after they left, I was like, okay, I'm giving myself a month to recuperate from the 2 years they lived with us. A month. I thought, oh, a month will be good, right? Yeah, not at all. By Christmas, I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get out of this? Like, what is happening? Like, all I wanted to do was sleep, sit, meditate, lay down, legs up the wall. And then I listened to this amazing podcast that told me that, I was in transformation state. There's transformation and there's action, and we need both. No matter if we're building a business, no matter in our personal life. And so today, Candace used different words, but her words were that we're in a meditative state, and then we're in an intuitive state, and then we're in an inspired action. And so it's very, very, very similar, and that it's cyclical. Okay? So I wish we could stay in inspired action all the time. So Nikki right now is in inspired action. I would say Suzanne right now is in inspired action. And Jade, I don't know, are you in intuition? I think you're either in intuition or inspired action. I'm not sure. What do you think? Any idea?
I think I'm in intuitive right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm in
pulling
meditation.
things in and list. Yeah, I'm in intuitive. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So I forget that each stage has its own amazing parts to it, right? And not to embrace them as negative when we may not feel like we're moving forward, because we actually are. So meditation is when we're quiet and we need to listen, right? And that's what I needed, I guess, for like 6 months after our foster daughters moved out. I did tons of writing and journaling and, stuff like that. So I knew that was happening, but until someone put down that actually you're in transformation, I was like, oh, thank you. Thank you. I wish I could explain that though to others more, like my husband, who is very, very understanding, but he still doesn't quite get it, but it's okay. He's getting there, he's getting there. So meditative state, transformation state is just quiet and listening. That's what we're doing during that stage. Then when we start to get into transformation or the intuitive state, we now are, we're now creative. We're now hearing the specific messages. We're getting the ideas. And then the inspired action is when we take those ideas and put them into place. Okay. So then after we've done that, then a lot of times, some of those people in inspired action are then going to leave inspired action and just go into action. And then from action, they're going to go into overwhelm, and then they're going to go into burnout because they haven't gone back to the meditative state. We have to keep the cycle going. We can't stay in inspired action because then it doesn't stay in inspired anymore, right? And so when I'm talking about overwhelm and burnout, it's getting stuck, and then the action turns into masculine energy instead of staying in inspired action, which is the feminine energy. And it's hard. And again, this is why I teach it, because even for myself, I get disconnected from it. And then I feel I start to struggle a bit. So I just want you, during meditation today, Candace said that that's when spirit is working us, that they're guiding us, and that we just have to sit and listen and be quiet and rest. So we have to allow the process to happen and not fight it. That's the other thing, is that as soon as we fight it, we have resistance. And when we have resistance, then we feel struggle. And then that's when we get into the masculine energy again. So I want you to tell me, either you can explain where you think, I've kind of guessed where I feel you are, but tell me where you think you are, how you're feeling, and then any examples do you have in your life where you can see this, and maybe you've noticed it before. But it's good to share these with each other so that we can be like, oh yeah, I had that during that time too, right? And so yeah, how are you perceiving this? How is this feeling in your body?
I have an example of this actually from this morning. So, my morning routine has been on my list, but I haven't gotten out of bed on time. So then I'm allowing myself the grace that when the children go to school, I could still do what I would be doing before the kids got up. So this morning, I'm kind of like rushing through things and I don't really know why. And then it's like, oh, it's yoga time. But anyway, so I'm doing the yoga, and while I'm doing it, I'm like thinking of other things and how long is this going to take? I don't have enough time in my day. And then all of a sudden, I flip to my thoughts to what if I was working right now? That was interesting how that worked for me. Oh, okay, this yoga practices work for me because it's research or however you want to implement that into your work. And then I was in total allowance of doing it. So I don't know what belief system that is or where that comes from, but to me, if it's work, okay, then there's actually no urgency. And if it's like play or pleasure almost, then it's like, oh, quick, 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 get it done, get it out of the way. I was like, but interesting to me, when it was work, it was like I was allowed to just be with it, be in it. So I was like, okay, cool, let's work, let's do some yoga. And it worked for me. So yeah, I don't really know how that applies, but I definitely feel like I'm in inspired action, but I can definitely relate to what you're saying. And when you're in that meditative state, it's not total ease for me. It's almost like a wrongness of like, what's wrong? Why don't I have the idea or the energies or the things? But it's always amazing what shows up on the other side of that. So I do hear what you're saying, and I appreciate you putting it into a context where I can understand and hopefully identify it in my own life. Okay, this is just a transformation stage, it's not wrong. So yeah,
Yeah.
so that's good. Yeah.
And I think that's what it is, right? It's that awareness, so that when we get there, it's like, oh, right, I remember this is where I'm at. And then we can go through it with ease and flow instead of that feeling like, what the hell is wrong with me? Why am I don't have energy? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Yeah. And is that like just such a high, like you have such high frequencies when things are going good and all that, like it's hard to come back down to that lower vibration? And where have we learned that that lower vibration is wrong or we're not deserving of it? I don't understand that. Like, because there's so much there.
Right.
There's so much receiving in that space.
And I also think that when we're in the inspired action, to make sure that we're aware, and like I said before, that we've left the inspired part, and then we can actually get into the meditative state on our own without allowing it to have to come. It's like, oh, I'm choosing this. I know I'm kind of leaving inspired, so I'm going to go into meditative state, being aware of it.
Oh,
Choosing
interesting. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So then it's not that high low, right?
Okay.
Because I mean, meditative state can be really high frequency if you're connected to source all the time.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Good feedback.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanna Jade, masculine energy barfed on society. Yeah. I'm gonna use that as a quote. So true. So true. Yeah. Okay, Jade, what do you think about all this?
Yeah, I think it's really awesome to put names to it. I think I've heard of this cyclical stuff before, but from like people who have a lot of masculine energy and are very different about how it was shared. So I don't think I was really taking it in. So this was nice because I really struggle with the meditative piece, and I think being aware of it is going to be helpful, because when you're not aware of it and you're like, why am I like this? Like, why am I not you know. So I think an example for me, started this business with a little tiny newborn. I just moved by myself with 2 kids, and so I was definitely in the, what's the third one called? I wrote it down.
Inspired action.
Inspired action, yeah. So it's definitely there. Built this business like super quick, right? In less than 6 months, like 5 team members. Like I'm incorporating this week, right? So it's pretty, right? It just went like crazy. But then all of a sudden, over the last couple of months, I'm kind of like, I'm supposed to be growing, and I'm supposed to, but I'm just kind of like, but I'm definitely in that inspired. Like a lot of ideas are coming, but I don't have any strong desire to like act on them. I feel a little bit guilty sometimes, but like they're here and like they're great, and I think they will take me places, and the universe is definitely giving me signs like that it's the right thing to do. But it's
Yeah.
nice that there's a reason why, right? Like I don't need to force it, because that's what I was feeling. I got to be guilty. I got to get all this stuff done, but it's I don't have any desire to, like, I'm just kind of happy right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's that allowance, right? Allowing. So definitely I'd say you're in the intuitive state, right? You're getting those ideas. And when it's time, you will know when you need to take the inspired action. There is no, and I'm saying this to myself, there's no timeline, right? We might be in meditative state short, and the next time intuition longer, and then the next time it'll flop, right? So just allow it to happen. Yeah, release that pressure. And yeah, that was a great share with how, yeah, be happy then. If you're happy with where things are right now, because you've been in inspired action for so long, right? And have succeeded so much. So yeah, I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
Welcome. Suzanne, how about you?
Well, I think in my life, what I usually do is I dive into stuff and get it done, and miss the time to meditate and get overwhelmed and exhausted. And then I stop, and then you think, okay, I got some time to breathe. And nope, the next crisis hits. So you dive back in and do the same thing over and over and over again. And hence why, you get to the point that you're so overwhelmed and so exhausted that you crash. So I think in the last few months, just being on these calls regularly to keep me in check, that it's about me and about what's good for me, not, that's given me that time, I guess, in the meditative time to slow down and not be that person. I guess, I don't know. I just find that I don't find myself taking a lot of time to like sit and meditate. I like to read and reread like the courses and like our talks, because I make notes like crazy, and just to review how I'm supposed to get out of all these crazy crises in my life without that. So
Right.
yeah, I don't know.
And so that's a great awareness there, is that meditation state doesn't necessarily mean you have to meditate. It just means quiet time, listening to what's happening in your body, what your body's saying. So it's just more slow. So it doesn't have to necessarily be meditating. So for you, it's just making sure that, that you're doing your breathing when you take your 10 o'clock and your 3 o'clock breaks, right? And you'll just notice your life. Like I would definitely, and I said you're inspired action, but you might be in an intuitive more state where you're getting messages, but then the inspired action is when you say no, right? When you said no, or when you said yes, whatever that is. So, I think
like I don't have a business to run or anything.
No.
Like it's usually I'm at work, but I think that most of the craziness lately has been family oriented. And like my daughter says, you're the matriarch of all of us. And, it's not grandpa, it's you. Everybody looks to you for answers with everything. And before is like, okay, well, you needed some help. Here I am. I'm helping you. And I'm helping all these people. And, even if they're not family. But I think lately I've been stopping myself from diving into a lot of this stuff, because man, they're crazy. And I just don't want it anymore. I'm like, God, sometimes I don't know how these people get dressed in the morning. And I just sit back and go, yeah, no. And I think that's where I'm stopping myself now. Whereas before I would just dive right in. And by the time it's all said and done and everything, you're exhausted
Right.
and you're so, yeah. And you can't, and then you don't have time to regroup or anything.
Yeah. Before you were just in full-time action, always
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
masculine action, right? And now you're taking inspired action from what is going to make me feel better.
Yes. I always ask myself, is this good for me?
Yes.
Like, is this good for me? Is this going to be affect like my family at home family? And if it is, it's like, yeah, no, I'm out.
Yeah.
So it's a change. The
Yeah.
family does not like it, but it's a change good for me.
That's right. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so amazing. So yeah, just to take this awareness with you as your life, as our cyclical phases of our life and our energy kind of shift. And, Jade, also with you checking in and feeling the, like you might even be in certain aspects of your life, right? I mean, there's no rule here, but I was just thinking the meditative state also, you might bring yourself in when we're feeling this heaviness of the world right now, right? Into the more quiet, just listening and in choosing that instead of the anger and frustration. Yeah. So anyway, that just kind of came up.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So just keep connected to your intentions, these awarenesses. And yeah, if you have any, I'd put in the email yesterday, like any questions, or if you have topics that you want to talk about more, this is your time. So I really want it to meet what you are looking for. So if there is anything on the top of your head right now, let me know. Or if it comes up, let me know too.
You'll be my family counselor then if you want to know what I need coping with. Right now in my life and everything, it's just family drama that I'm trying to be the one to step back and really think about it first before I act, because boy, oh boy, sometimes I just want to react to the situation instead of stepping back and taking that time to review the situation first before I decide what action I want to do personally.
Right.
Because they're going to do what they want to do. I have no control over that. But what I have control over is how I'm reacting to it. And that's been very big lately. And that's the best thing for me, is that I've been taking that time to see what's best for me and how to react personally toward this sort of stuff. And it's helped lots.
Awesome.
That's really
Amy,
cool. Can I just add something there to
please.
Suzanne's? Like, time is a funny thing. Time actually doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But you may not know it right now, Suzanne, but you are actually showing your family a different way of being. Like you are inviting them into a different reality. And I know that that's not your intention right now, but a year from today, you may reflect and there may be a family member or something, and they've made so many changes in their life, or they've chosen to be part of a different reality because of the steps that you have taken. So your happiness will invite more people into like all this, the feminine energy and the things that we're talking about. it takes time. It's not like, oh, I see you're so happy, let me be with you. It doesn't show up like that. Right? But I've
Yeah.
been doing a lot of reflecting lately, and I think back to like a year ago, to some of the relationships, or even who I was a year ago, and to a year later to who I am now. Like, it's so amazing, right? A year may seem like a long time, but man, it's just a blink. And now we're growing our toolboxes and they're getting bigger. And yeah, like that's the whole idea is, and hopefully more people will choose Kim and come see Kim and just choose to be more in the feminine energy with us, like all the things we're talking about. I listened to this thing the other day on Facebook, and it was like an energy update. His name is Lee Harris. He did an energy update on the month of September, and he said that all it would take is to get 30% of the population to even entertain the idea that there is another possibility right now. So 30% of the population, if we could just get 30% to even just look beyond what's going on right now, we will shift the universe. So that was inviting for me because I'm like, hey, 30% feels very doable in this reality. People are curious, they're interested, they're asking questions. And yeah, so I just think that that's really exciting. And we just have to keep inviting this 30%. Come on, people, and just start to change and turn this, right? So yeah.
Yeah. You know what? And I agree with you, because when I was talking to my brother and his soon to be ex-wife, yeah, they're getting divorced. And I said, you know what? Yeah, you're getting divorced, and it's sad. You're both in different stages of your life, which is also sad, but life will move forward and things will be okay. And for me, just to take the time to tell them that, to look at it a different way, like to look at the situation a totally different way than being mad at each other was I think was a eye opener for them to look at it. You know what? I'm going to get through this. So
Yeah.
I totally agree. If people looked a little bit better, things would change. Yeah.
Yeah. And this question of like, what would I like my life to be like? It's changed my whole universe. Like for your brother, what would he like his life to look like? And what would the wife like her life to look like? And it's not wrong that they're not part of each other's visions anymore. It's just like, what's going to work for you? Like your question was, what works for me? Right? So
Yeah, exactly. You're just
yeah,
changing your path. That's all you're
yeah,
doing. It didn't
totally.
work out. You're changing your path.
Tried this
So
on and yeah, I'm going to choose something different now. And
yeah.
yeah, so
But that's
it's,
very hard
yeah,
sometimes to tell people when
of
you just want to
course.
say, well, this is karma.
Well, maybe don't say that.
I didn't, but I kind of wanted to.
Okay. You want to get rid of them.
That would be one way of stopping them asking me questions.
Last resort. Last resort. You've got your words. Yeah, totally. Totally.
Oh,
And when
that's
they're willing to hear it, they'll hear it. They're not going to hear it until they're ready to hear it, right? If they want to
Yeah,
be in the sadness
exactly.
and the things, and that's where they're going to be until they're ready to.
Yeah, that's what I always tell them. You're on page one was, we're going to work this out nicely. Page two of divorce is the fight. And that's the
Mm,
page they're in. I said, well, until you want to turn that page, there's nothing I can do to help you. There's
yeah,
nothing we can do. No one can help you if you're just going to stay on that page. You
yeah,
need to move forward.
yeah.
totally, totally.
So
I imagine some pretty deep feelings in ending a marriage, though.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
sending vibes.
Mhm. Absolutely. All right. Well, just each of you tell me, it can be an intention or something that you're thinking about going forward this week. If it's just going to be the same intention that you kind of had, you're working on it, or just anything that you're focusing on for this next week.
I am focusing on bringing good vibes to my mother-in-law for her move to the home, with going through her stuff with her slowly. So it's an easy transition for her. That's what I'm going to focus on this next 2 weeks, actually. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Beautiful. And focus on your good vibes so that you can give her the good vibes.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you.
Do you want me to go? Okay, so yeah, I choose me. So that's my affirmation right now is that I choose me and that I am deserving and worthy of hosting and leading these healing sound baths. So
That's
Beautiful.
I'm gonna
awesome.
run with.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Beautiful.
I have to get someone to take some photos or something. Or like a
Mhm.
little mini video,
Yeah,
so you can like capture it for yourself and of course for your social media
I know,
too.
I was like thinking about that. I was like, before you know it, my husband and kids are gonna be like in the woods. Click, click. Careful what you ask for. But yes, thank you, Jade.
I think for me, continuing with keeping my space good will be good. But also, I think writing down some of the ideas that are coming because sometimes I avoid them because I've been like afraid like if I write them down, that means I have to take action, and I don't really want to right now.
Right.
So, but still keeping them, in one place, and so that when I am kind of getting that energy back and I'm ready, I can be like, okay, like this is what the universe sent me because I think I missed lots, right? And when the universe tries to say something to you 10 times, it's like, well, I probably should be listening. So,
Yeah.
that's what I'll do. I have a journal actually ready for this. I just avoid putting it in there because then I have to take action. But yeah,
But you don't have to.
exactly. Yeah, respecting that I don't have to, and then I think getting them out will leave space for more messages and maybe the right messages, right? So maybe some of the ideas don't need to, but the right ones will come.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Perfect.
that's what I'm gonna do this week.
Awesome. Beautiful.
What about you, Kim?
Oh, me. I am going to allow. So I am allowing everything to happen. That is what I'm doing right now. Yeah, I am really in allowance. Brad is gone for 2 weeks. He's been called away to camp, which doesn't very often happen. So it's the girls and I, and so it's not that it's hard at their age, but they still take up time. And so I'm just going to allow things to happen. And so that is my intention for this week. Allowance.
Awesome.
Thank you. All right, my friends, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for
Okay.
raising my energy.
Okay,
Yes.
bye everybody.
Hey,
Have a
Okay,
good
see you
weekend.
Friday.
bye-bye. Yeah,
Okay.
sounds great.